Whether it's at the box office, taking over every corner of Times Square, or on any television or social media, 2022 mainstream anime culture has been seemingly dominated by One Piece. Through all these mediums, One Piece continues to prove itself to be one of, if not the most emotional, entertaining, and thought-provoking story ever told, containing everything from adventures, intense fight scenes, and excruciatingly well-contained mysteries. But which of these countless mysteries do we find the most mind-boggling? There are more than enough components to the series to earn your investment and keep you entertained. Feel free to stick around today as we uncover and discuss the top 3 most elusive mysteries in One Piece. Number 3. Who is Luffy's mom? There are many long sought out answers to the many mysteries within One Piece, from the history of Joy Boy to his father Monkey D. Dragon, and even the discussion of his one true dream. The true story and motivations of Monkey D. Luffy still remain at question. But out of all the questions relating to Luffy's immediate origin and history, one of the most frequently asked has been, who is Luffy's mom? The fandom and the internet have given us many attempts to answer this long pondered question, some of which are way more memeable than others, starting with the goofiest of all the potential candidates, the Croco Mom theory. Apparently, there are actually some goofies out there that think Crocodile is Luffy's mom. Now, obviously, this should make very little sense to you, as at first glance, there's absolutely no way that this could possibly add up or happen. However, the closer you look at the subtle hidden details, the more you may realize this theory may actually have some weight to it. The first piece of evidence being Luffy's conversation with Ivankov in Impel Down about Crocodile, hinting to a specific weakness, something hidden within the past of Crocodile and Ivankov that suggests the two have some kind of hidden connection to each other. This becomes especially interesting when you take into account the fact that Ivankov's devil fruit ability, the Horu Horu no Mi, allows him to alter the hormonal makeup and genetics of any target he desires, including their gender. And due to events that may have recently occurred in the manga, we were also able to learn that the effects of the Horu Horu no Mi on the target's body can be overridden or reversed by using Haki. This may explain away what some consider to be a now 20+ year long plot hole, being how Luffy was able to defeat Crocodile pre-time skip without having obtained Haki or any gears. As with the context of the scene between him and Ivankov, it is very likely that Crocodile intentionally nerfed himself from using Haki during his encounter with Luffy, solely so he would not undo the effects of the Horu Horu no Mi on his own body. As for this part of the theory, I believe that the possibility of Crocodile's secret involving his gender is highly likely. But what the heck does any of that have to do with him being Luffy's mom? To be completely honest, there isn't any real concrete evidence linking Crocodile to Luffy, at least not biologically. We are sure that he has some kind of history with the Revolutionary Army due to Ivankov, and if the secret he mentioned is in reference to Crocodile's original gender being female, there could be a window of time where he got his cheeks clapped by Dragon, thus leading to the inevitable conception of our beloved protagonist, Luffy. However, considering the fact that Luffy and Crocodile have met within the story, and the fact that Crocodile has made attempts on Luffy's life not just once, but on 3 separate occasions, chances of them being a long-lost mother-son duo seem highly unlikely, but Crocodile is most likely a girl. Before we get into the next theory, I just want to let y'all know this is not mine. It was written by a user of the name Zoe Black, but I thought it was worth mentioning enough for 2 reasons. 1, it's an entertaining thought and read that is thought-provoking enough to have some standing. 2, it actually provides evidence for our third potential candidate, which is a theory I came up with on my own. But don't worry, we'll get there. For now, I'll read you the premise of this one and let you decide for yourselves how it holds up. Luffy's mother theory. Luffy's mother may be Goldie Roger's sister. I think that the former pirate king may be related to Luffy. There have been many times where Luffy was compared to Roger, although it may be only due to their behavior. People said that Luffy is the spitting image of Roger when he was young. If you look at Ace, Luffy, and Roger, you'll see that all 3 of them have similar personalities and tempers, which runs in families. They also have a similar appearance, black hair, that smile and body type. If Luffy's mother was Roger's sister, then that would explain 2 mysteries in One Piece. First, it would explain Dragon's motivation to overthrow the world government, and second, it would explain why she has yet to make an appearance within the series. I think that Luffy's mother was as strong as Roger, not through power or anything, but her willpower. She might have seen the world nobles treating other humans in a bad way, and she, not caring what happens to her, took action on trying to talk on them or on letting humans go free. But instead, she was shot and killed for speaking out. That would explain why Roger went on to learn the whole history behind all this, and Dragon becoming a revolutionary. Dragon was at Roger's execution, and he didn't have a tattoo then. So knowing that Roger wouldn't have been able to take down the world government due to his illness, he decided to take it on by himself by becoming a revolutionary and strictly going against the world government. Now that is a pretty solid theory. I think there's definitely something going for it, and Zoe was definitely on to the right track. Great theory. However, I think you'll quickly see that the evidence presented for it much better suits my theory towards Luffy's mother's identity. Now, here's the one we've all been waiting for. You're probably wondering, where could I possibly be getting this from? At first glance, to some, Luffy's mom being a member of the very much thought to be extinct race seems next to impossible. But as any longtime readers of One Piece know, if there's anything that Oda likes to do to us, it's subvert our expectations. Now, in order to get to the meat of this theory, first we have to explain one thing. Who or what are the Lunarians. We are given our first and only confirmation of a currently living natural-born Lunarian within the story through the introduction of the character King, first commander of the Beast Pirates. King was born somewhere on the Grand Line 47 years ago and eventually ends up in captivity of the world government, who have the intention of doing experiments on him to uncover the mysteries of his Lunarian abilities. The world government have an intent desire to hunt down and identify all remaining Lunarians, showcased by their willingness to pay 100 million berry for even just a tip on any of their whereabouts. But what exactly is it about Lunarians and their features that makes them so sought out? Some of the most prominent and immediately identifying traits of the Lunarian people are their black or brown skin, silver white hair, and their passive ability to manipulate and produce flames. Another distinct and unmissable way to identify a Lunarian is by the large feathered black wings they possess on their backs, giving them the ability to glide and take flight as they desire. And as if that wasn't already OP enough, it seems that the reason the world government is most interested in Lunarians is due to their extreme physical resilience and endurance, as they are stated to be capable of surviving in any natural environment. Now it's time to answer how any of that could potentially be connected to Luffy's lineage. As for Luffy's mom specifically, we have a single piece of evidence confirming that she's already been drawn and shown to us at some point in the series. That being volume 44 of the SBS, where Oda states not only had they already been drawn, but that they would even appear in the next volume. This picture in particular suggests that Luffy's mother is another member of the Revolutionary Army, which I also believe is very likely. However, I don't know if I believe his mother is the woman shown here. A much more popular candidate for a canon panel containing Luffy's mom, from a flashback chapter written and drawn by Oda for One Piece Film Red, depicting Uda as a young toddler along with Shanks and his crew. Within the midst of Shanks' celebration, we briefly cut to a single panel of a mysterious woman singing along with Uta's song and carrying a newborn baby, who just so happens to be smiling as he listens to the song. Now, despite the obvious facial resemblance, there is a lot of evidence to support that baby being Luffy. 1. We know it takes place in Luffy's birthplace of origin, Fuchsia Village, as this village was heavily frequented by the red-haired pirates and is where Uta and Luffy formally meet in their youth. And 2, we also know that Uta sparked Luffy's love of music and inspired him to search for a musician on his own crew. And in response to Uta's music, the baby smiled. Currently, in the canon continuity, Luffy is 19 years of age and Uta is confirmed to be 21, putting them exactly at the age gap they would have been during the time these manga panels take place. Also, if there's any one smile that we could recognize at first glance, it's Luffy's. With that being said, I noticed one extremely significant detail to the mysterious figure of the woman holding our infant protagonist, that being her extremely white, light hair color. It's obviously impossible to tell exactly what color her skin or hair is without colorization, but we can certainly infer her hair is lighter than normal. Obviously, hair color isn't enough to go off to prove her being Lunarian though. Where are her wings? I posited the theory that in response to being hunted by the world government or placed in captivity, the few Lunarians remaining left were forced into hiding, even going to extreme lengths of mutilating themselves and suppressing their signature features like wings or flame emission in order to avoid captivity. Remember how I said the evidence presented in the second theory would better suit this one? The creator of it stated Luffy's mom either has to be dead or in hiding. What better reason to be in hiding than due to being one of the last members of the race from the Kingdom of Gods? It would also explain 2 hidden details about Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon. 1. Why he's a revolutionary. He is the founder and leader of a world power dedicated specifically to overthrowing the world government. If it's not far-fetched to think he would take on such a life-threatening task solely to protect his wife, why would it be any more far-fetched to think her heritage is the reason he has to do so? I believe it's far more likely that Luffy's mother is descendant of a hunted bloodline thought to be extinct versus her being a random, never before mentioned sister of Roger. And most importantly, I believe a connection to Lunarians would explain the origin and meaning of Dragon's face tattoo, which has very similar position and coloring to King's. Is there some kind of cultural significance to these markings? We know Oda does nothing without a thought out intention. The last and most important piece of evidence to this theory is Monkey D. Luffy himself. Upon first glance, there are already 2 clearly prominent features to our favorite MC linking him to Lunarian lineage. The first being his body's ability to generate and produce fire, most notably showcased through his special move Red Hawk. Although this was originally explained away by the fanbase as the friction from Luffy's movement igniting his rubber body, we now however know this is not the case, as Luffy is not actually a rubber paramecia. The other irrefutable piece of evidence, hidden in plain sight, is Luffy's supernatural resilience and durability. Time and time again, Luffy has shown himself capable of surviving fates that quite simply put have no logical explanation for him to come out of them alive. From surviving and becoming immune to Magellan's ultra lethal poison, to literally dying and reviving himself during combat against Crocodile, Kaido, and other major adversaries, it's fair to say that the endurance of a god is something Luffy and the Lunarians share in common. But there is one more aspect to Luffy that solidifies this theory as fact, that being the newly introduced in the manga Gear 5. For all of the identifying qualities of a Lunarian, Sun God Luffy appears to possess not only the tanner brown skin, but an aura of flame limbs and white hair. Due to a confirmation given to us by Zunisha during Luffy's initial awakening, we now know that Luffy is the Joy Boy of the modern day, which is important due to the fact that we know the reason Luffy was able to be identified as Joy Boy is due to him having eaten the Gomu Gomu no Mi, formerly known as the Hito Hito no Mi model Sun God Nika. This means that the features and form he takes on in the Sun God form are also those of the original Joy Boy. Otherwise, Zunisha would have no other way to identify Luffy as him, meaning that the first Joy Boy was also a Lunarian, and by association, for Luffy to be Joy Boy, he also must have Lunarian lineage. Number 2. Who are the other god fruit eaters? In the arc of Skypiea, we are given some of the most pivotal and telling examples of foreshadowing within the entire series through us briefly receiving information of the gods worshipped by the Shandians, those being the god of the sun, rain, earth, and forest. Due to recent events and some masterful foreshadowing by Oda, we know that Luffy is the aforementioned sun god, as it was not only shown in Skypiea, but officially proven and confirmed this year in chapter 1044 of the manga, meaning that Luffy's defeat of Eneru almost 20 years ago canonically represents the false prophet of the land of Skypiea being toppled over by its true god. While masterful writing, all this forces us as readers to ask is, who are the other gods? And I believe there are some incredibly likely candidates. The rain god, dragon. I believe that the obvious choice for the holder of the rain god devil fruit has to be Monkey D. Dragon. While mysterious he may be, there are more than a few moments that occur in the story linking his power to something involving the weather or rain. The first and most obvious being, when very early on in the story he appears in Log Town to save Luffy from execution. While nothing is explicitly known or stated about Dragon's abilities, during his appearance he is notably seen to apparently summon or garnish a gust of wind, leading to a severe storm. The winds are strong enough to blow away not only entire navy fleets and their weaponry, but every single other person within the town center itself. Even Nami felt the immense power of the winds, while not even being present on the island, but upon their ship nearby. We see this power used once again in a flashback featuring Sabo's backstory with the revolutionaries, where Dragon is shown putting out an island-wide fire with the massive gust of wind. With all the knowledge we have now with this title as the world's most wanted man, and the knowledge of who his son is, I believe it's safe to say the most likely candidate for the Hito Hito no Mi model storm god is Dragon. Now I actually already made a full video covering both of these next two potential god fruit holders that you can find over on my TikTok account. The link will be in my bio. To give you the TLDR, this theory proposes the idea that Chopper's devil fruit ability holds a lot more significance than we once originally thought. The first, most glaring piece of evidence for this theory being his devil fruit's name. The Hito Hito no Mi, otherwise known as the human fruit, is said to have only had the effect that it had on Chopper due to him originally having not been a human but a reindeer. However, this is called into question due to multiple clues hidden throughout the story's continuity, the first of which being Oda's response to a fan in volume 20 of SBS, in which when asked by a fan what would happen if a person ate the human fruit, he responds with, I suppose I should say they become human. Guess you could say that means something like an adult, or finding your true spirit or something. So basically, people will live more human-like. Well, I guess you could say that, or not. Basically, not. Goodbye. As vague as the response may seem, it does give us much needed insight about the powers of the fruit itself. Firstly, nowhere in Oda's response to what would happen if a human ate the Hito Hito no Mi does it state that they would stay the same as a regular human and lose their ability to swim. This is a common misconception that is constantly spread around by the fanbase, and it is nowhere near the truth. We now know the reason behind Oda's extremely vague response to be due to the fact that the Hito Hito no Mi is the true name and ability of Luffy's devil fruit. The Gomu Gomu no Mi is not a paramecia, but a mythological zone modeled after the sun god Nika, and mythological zones being classified under the Hito Hito no Mi model is something that is repeatedly mentioned throughout the story. Of the 4 human fruit confirmed to canonically exist, 3 are also confirmed to be mythological zones. We have Luffy's Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, Onimaru's Hito Hito no Mi model Oniuro, and ex-Fleet Admiral Sengoku's Hito Hito no Mi model Buddha. There's a distinct reason Oda chose to answer that fan's question in such a manner, and all these mythological fruits fall under that Hito Hito no Mi model classification. If that's not enough, there's more! The second main piece of evidence that Chopper's ability is more than just turning into a regular human is Chopper's form. Unlike any other Zoan named after its animal type, not once, anywhere in the series, does Chopper actually transform into a human. Instead, he maintains a now humanoid, anthropomorphic form of himself, a natural-born reindeer, now possessing human levels of intelligence and the ability to walk upright. Chopper also possesses multiple different forms, or points as he likes to call them, each relating to a specific different application he has in mind, none of which actually involve him transforming fully into the animal associated with his devil fruit. Why is that? If all of that is still not enough to convince you, I cover the last and most convincing piece of evidence, which surprisingly involves Blackbeard of all people, in complete detail in the video I previously mentioned. So make sure you click the link in my bio. As for the final candidate to be mentioned in this mystery, I believe that the title of the Earth God is shared with none other than the mysterious and evasive figure Imu-sama. Now, What is the basis of that? We should start out by letting it be known very little is canonically known about this mysterious figure, other than the fact that they rank atop the highest seats within the ominous world government, sitting upon the previously thought to be empty throne within Meridois, and has even the Gorosei bowing down to them. But that alone isn't enough to pinpoint the Earth God as Imu. More information can be easily found within Imu's intense desire and fixation on Luffy. As we know, not only does Imu-sama possess and seemingly express hatred for the pictures of Luffy, Blackbeard, Shirahoshi, and Vivi, but also under Imu's possession is a gigantic, several age-old straw hat. This already established a connection between Imu and one of the other confirmed deities, as well as their fear of Shirahoshi, who we also know is confirmed to be the ancient weapon Poseidon. Why is this relevant? Nika, the sun god, is known within the One Piece world as the warrior of liberation and freedom. It is stated that ancient slaves believed Nika would eventually come to liberate them of their captivity. And who is the entire world unknowingly enslaved by, to the point that their existence is literally hidden under the guise of an empty throne? Imu-sama. We also know for a fact that Meridois, the home of the Gorosei, Imu, the celestial dragons, and the rest of the world nobles, resides on the very top of the Red Line, which itself is an ultra supermassive supercontinent that wraps around the entirety of the One Piece Earth. Something extremely interesting about this fact is that the Red Line stands an unimaginable 20,000 meters tall, a large enough distance for it to reach the ozone layer on our real Earth. This massive anomaly becomes all the more interesting when you take into account that its existence seems to also stand in the way of essentially every one of the Straw Hat's dreams. Frankie wants to travel the entire world in a masterful ship of his own creation. Ami wants to make a map of the entire world. Chopper wants to cure every one of the world's diseases. Brook wants to reunite back with Laboon at the bottom of Reverse Mountain. Sanji wants to find the All Blue. With the Red Line dividing each of the seas and cutting off each sector of the world from the others, each of these dreams are incapable of happening. I believe this is because the Red Line itself, regardless of how long it existed prior to the world government, is an artificial continent made with the powers of the Earth God fruit. But what non-allegorical evidence do I have to support the Earth God being Imu, you ask? In the one time we are shown Imu using their ability, we witness them respond to Sabo attempting to confirm their existence to the revolutionaries in the Lucia Kingdom, only for it to be instantaneously evaporated from the Earth itself, with Imu stating that it never existed to begin with. I believe this is a very clear representation of Imu's dominion over the terrain of the Earth, capable of not only altering and manipulating the planet's terrain, but to erase entire continents or islands entirely. But what do I know? That's just my 2 cents. Number 1. What is the One Piece? Finally, the one we've all been waiting for. After over 1,069 chapters, 1,043 episodes, and almost 3 decades worth of content, the one big question Oda has intentionally let linger on all of our minds has been, what truthfully is the One Piece? In order to gain an understanding, first we have to cover what we know for certain. The One Piece is the name of an ancient treasure found and popularized by the legendary pirate king Gold D. Roger. The announcement of the existence of this treasure by Roger during his execution sprung the entire world into a new golden age of piracy, inspiring members of the next generation all over the world to take to the seas to find it. We also know that the treasure was left on the last island in the New World, which was named by Roger and his crew Laugh Tale. The road leading to Laugh Tale and the exact way to reach it are hidden and spread out through 4 road poneglyphs, ancient artifacts dating over 800 years into the past that contain hidden information about the ancient world. Acquiring these 4 poneglyphs and a member of the clan capable of reading them is the only way to find the island and reach the One Piece. But with all that said, what could this unimaginable treasure possibly be? I believe I've come to another conclusion that's never been said before, so hang on to your seats. Along with the reveal of what the One Piece treasure actually is, another mystery that has been foreshadowed and alluded to by Oda just as long has been Luffy's true dream. Not just him becoming the Pirate King, nor just his desire to make it so everyone in the world can eat as much as they like, as he proclaimed to Kaido, but Luffy's true dream, the goal he has had in mind since the series began, that has been so outlandish, so absurd, it has shaped the very events and characters within the story itself as they've placed their faith in Luffy. Everyone in the community generally seems to think these two are separate mysteries. What if I told you that they were one and the same? The first piece of evidence to support this theory comes from chapter 967 of the manga, as we are given a glimpse into the past through a flashback showcasing the Roger Pirates. We see them during their acquisition of the 4 road poneglyphs, and ultimately their arrival to Laugh Tale and discovery of the One Piece. In this moment, we learn 2 pivotal pieces of information that support this theory. The first being that we learn the One Piece was not created by Roger as we'd all originally thought, only found by him, and that the original creator of the unimaginable treasure is none other than the OG Joy Boy, meaning that the treasure had been left on the island over 800 years ago during the Void Century. The second clue we're given is in how the Roger pirates reacted to it. In response to seeing the One Piece, Roger and the rest of his crew laughed, to the point that tears poured from their eyes. They decided to name the island in honor of this, and Roger stated that he wished he could have been born during the same era as Joy Boy, implying that he showed up at the wrong time. This may mean that in order to actually interact with or receive the One Piece in its full scale, you have to be Joy Boy. As we know, Roger's fate was not to uncover the mysteries of the One Piece or to liberate the world, but to inspire the will and desires of the one who would. Now let me explain to you how all that directly correlates to Luffy's true dream. The first reason is in how Luffy's dream has been currently delivered to us in the story. In every instance of Luffy or someone else sharing his dream, Oda cuts away the reader's view of the declaration before it can be finished and instead shows us how the other characters react to it. And every time, the reveal of the dream is met with one of three reactions: either shock, laughter, or pure joy to the point of tears. In the most recent instance of Luffy revealing his dreams to the Straw Hats in chapter 1060, along with receiving each of these reactions from the Straw Hats, we learn from Luffy that when he told Shanks his dream, Shanks also had tears running down his face. We also know from Shanks himself the reason he bet his left arm on the new era of pirates and bestowed Luffy possession of his Straw Hat is because of the fact that the dream Luffy told him was the one that Roger had. This perfectly explains how and why Roger was born in the wrong era. During his time, he was thought to be the next incarnation of Joy Boy, but could not be due to him having not eaten the Sun God Nika devil fruit, which we have also confirmed is the power the original Joy Boy had. Luffy is also Joy Boy, or the current inheritor of this power, and it has been confirmed officially in the verse and by the author that the ability of this mythological zone devil fruit is to bring the user's imagination to reality. Since we also know that the original Joy Boy had this ability, that means that he used that power to create the One Piece in the first place. How do I know this for certain? In the reactions to Luffy's dream. By now, if you haven't noticed, the same reactions everyone in the series has had to hearing Luffy's dream has been the exact same as the reaction the Roger Pirates had to discovering the One Piece. Shock, laughter, and tears of joy. The reason Luffy is considered the inheritor of Roger's will is because he is the one who was born on time, within Joy Boy's era, to liberate the entire world and discover the One Piece, world peace. The reason both Luffy's dream and the One Piece have only been revealed to us by their reactions is because they are one in the same. And that was my final piece of evidence for the final of the top 3 most important and elusive mysteries in One Piece. 2 of these were completely original theories I spent quite some time coming up with all the evidence for, so if you enjoyed this, please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe. That would genuinely be appreciated. Please comment and let me know what you think of the mysteries and theories presented in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. Sun God signing off.
Come in clutch like a genie. Don't talk unless you need me. You talk too much, you need it. All of my bitches look like